Oh, hello. Okay, so I thought that I would just have like a little one-off yoga class, and I think I might actually do it once a month. But I always feel like people reevaluate in the new year whether or not. Um, well, welcome, Cheryl. Um, I just I always think that it's wonderful to kind of reassess our practices at the beginning of a new year, and I have some things coming up that I thought I would just sort of put out there. And having these little yoga classes is really nice because then it gives people access to um, deeper dives into themselves. And so uh, I really enjoy doing this kind of stuff. So I thought that this practice that we were going to do, we would do a couple of things. One, we do a movement practice because, that's what we think of as yoga, at least as Americans. That's what we think of as yoga. And so we'll do a little physical practice to kind of move around energy in our body and do a lot of heart opening. And a lot of the work that I've been doing personally and professionally has to do with people being really authentic to themselves and finding their voice, which feels like a very collective kind of thing right now. And so I thought that what we would do at the end is we do a nice yoga nidra, followed by a little journaling. I'll just give you some prompts, and if you want to share, you can share, and if you don't want to share, you don't have to share. But I thought I would just create that space for you. And the way that I like to do it is by kind of getting rid of all of the stuff in the way, which physically I always start very physically and then kind of move deeper, and then kind of move into our heart space a little bit so that we can understand what it is that we truly desire in life. So that's what we're going to do. Now would be a good time if you don't have like a little journal and a pen or a piece of paper and a pen. Now would be a good time to go get that. And I'll give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll get started. And whenever you're ready, just maybe type in the little chat like, "Hey, I got my stuff." My feet are asleep. On. Okay. Great. Let's wait for Colleen. Oh, good. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So, all right. So just set it off to the side somewhere that's accessible, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. And for right now, what I would love for you to do is I'd love for you to start in a child's pose. So you'll bring your big toes together. Maybe I like to widen my knees nice and wide, and then bring my hands forward so that I get really long through my body, and just drop my head down to the ground. And when I start here, I kind of like to move. Um, I like to move in ways that feel like I'm opening up, feel like I'm creating more length. Just kind of resting on the ground with your head down towards the ground. Maybe your hips come back towards your feet. Maybe you just kind of take your fingertips a little further forward. And maybe kind of like press down on one hand, lift the opposite shoulder and kind of move in the other, maybe rock from side to side. And for just a moment here, we're going to pause and notice our breath. When I think of our heart space, I think of balancing, right? Of giving and receiving. I think of really understanding this as an access point to, our physical body, and what we need and our sort of spiritual and energetic body as well. And so from here, we're just going to take a moment and kind of assess our mind, see how we're feeling, see what themes are arising in this moment. And then when you're ready, you're just gonna kind of keep your hands where they are, keep your knees where they are, and you're gonna come up onto your hands and knees and you're gonna pause for just a moment. We're not gonna move the spacing, but just kind of pause here for a moment. And so we're in a really wide tabletop type position. And I want for you to roll your shoulders onto your back and send your heart forward and maybe take your gaze up towards the sky. And you might have to really pull your navel online. And then you're going to exhale and come back to downward or down to child's pose. Sorry. We'll do this a couple more times, inhaling forward, maybe taking an extra couple of breaths, kind of pulling the heart forward, maybe taking the gaze up, and then exhaling and releasing the hips back to child's pose. One more time, reaching the heart up towards the sky, maybe taking the gaze up, dropping the hips down, and then releasing back to child's pose. Bring your knees together, maybe tuck the toes for a moment. And then you're going to inhale, lift up again. This time you're coming to a low plank. So you're not dropping the hips and lifting the gaze, but just kind of keeping the hips in line with the knees and the head. Take one more breath here. You kind of really engage the navel. And then as you exhale, you'll release your hips back. Okay, one more time. You're going to come forward, pause here in this little plank. All right, as you come back, you're going to take the right hand underneath the left arm. So you're just threading the arm underneath, setting the hips back, keeping that left hand reaching forward, and taking the gaze underneath the left armpit. And the reason I like to do this is I think of the heart as having all the sides, right? It's 3D. There's a back, there's a front, there's two sides. There's the inside, the outside. And to move into that space, we need to kind of move our body in all the ways. Take one more breath. And then you'll re-extend the arm forward and come forward to that little supported plank. Pause for a moment. And with your next exhale, take the left hand underneath the right, rest the left shoulder on the ground, right arm reaches forward, take the gaze underneath the right armpit. Again, you might walk the right fingers forward just a little further. And then when you're ready, come back up. Extend the left hand, tuck the toes, and you're gonna just lift the knees slightly away from the ground. Pause for a few breaths. And then as you exhale, lift the hips up and back and come to downward facing dog. So right here, we're in this perfect little stance. Maybe pedal out your feet. Find some opening in the backs of the legs. And press down into your hands so much that your hips rise effortlessly. Take one more breath. And then you're going to inhale, kind of roll forward in a wave type pattern all the way to a plank pose. If you need to, you can drop your knees down to the ground. You can keep them lifted. As you exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Pause there for a breath. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. And then one more time, inhale forward. And this time you're just going to drop the hips, keep those toes tucked. If you drop the hips a lot, you can really press into your hands, lift your heart and maybe your gaze up towards the sky or forward. Take one more breath. And then exhale, drop the knees down, come back to child's pose. Take a couple of moments here. And then we're going to move into and out of this with a movement for each breath, kind of starting from just this child's pose. Okay, feel that spaciousness on the back side of the heart, like our gateway, right? Inward. As you inhale, you're going to inhale forward, drop the hips down, keep the knees on the ground. So it's a little low cobra type pose. Exhale back to child's pose. Inhale forward to that supported plank. Pause. And then exhale back to child's pose. Tuck your toes. Lift up into downward facing dog. So lift the knees away from the ground. Roll forward on an inhale to plank. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale forward to this tucked toe, upward facing dog. Drop the hips, lift the heart. Exhale back to down dog. And then drop the knees to the ground and sit back into child's pose. We're going to do that one more time. So inhaling, lifting up, keeping the knees on the ground, dropping the hips, lifting the heart. Exhale back to child's pose, balasana. Inhale forward to this supported plank pose. Exhale back to child's pose. Coming up to downward facing dog, tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Rolling forward to plank. Coming back to down dog. And then coming forward, dropping the hips down, lifting the heart up towards the sky, press into the ground. And exhale back to down dog. Stay here for a breath or two. Maybe kind of rotate the feet, the heels to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. We get into those sides of the heart, come back to center, and then drop the knees to the ground, and you're gonna walk your hands back so that they're directly under your shoulders. Okay, now kind of accentuating these little bends in our back, you're gonna inhale, pull the heart forward. So it's like you're dragging the ground towards your knees, send your heart forward, maybe your gaze up, neck long. Exhale, press the ground away from you and round your back, opening the back side of the heart. Inhale, heart forward, roll the shoulders onto the back. Exhale, press the ground away from you, back into cat. One more time. Inhale, heart forward, really drag the ground towards your knees. Exhale, around your back, tuck your head and tailbone. Bring your knees together. Lift your right leg away from you. Lift it away from the ground. So toes will point towards the ground. You're going to exhale, drop the knee underneath you and round your head towards your knee in a cat pose. And then as you inhale, extend out long, the right leg behind you, crown of the head forward. 2 more times. Exhale, round the back, head to knee. Inhale, extend. 1 more time. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. And this time, draw the right foot up towards the right hand into a low lunge. You're gonna walk that right foot forward so you get a nice long stance between your right foot and your left knee. You're gonna pause here for a few moments. See if you can find that cow type pose, drawing your belly down towards the ground. Pull the heart forward and the hands back towards your left knee. Take a moment or two. And then slowly maybe draw your right hand to your right knee, lift up left hand to right knee, and find length along the front side of the body. So here we are. This should feel pretty intense, maybe in your left hip, maybe in your left thigh. Take one more breath here. And then as you inhale, lift your hands up towards the sky. You can interlace your fingers if that feels better, or you can just keep your hands separated. And then slowly reach those hands up even higher. Lift your heart even higher. Take one more breath. As you exhale, release the hands down to the inside of your right leg. Keep the left toes tucked, and you're going to lift the left knee away from the ground. As you exhale, drop the left knee down, bend into the left knee, lift the foot away from the ground. As you exhale, drop that foot down. Inhale, lift the left knee away from the ground. Doing this 2 more times, moving with whatever way your breath guides you, just bending into the knee and lifting the leg, and then lifting the knee. One more time. And then tuck those toes, leave the left knee lifted, pause for a breath. Right hand to right knee and twist to the right. See if you can bring some heart opening into this by reaching the right hand up and over. So you get long through the front, the back, and definitely through the right side. Take one more breath. As you exhale, release the right hand down. Step back with the right foot to meet the left. And you can move through a vinyasa if that's part of your yoga practice, or just come to child's pose. Send the hips back, reach the hands forward. Spend a few moments here, breathing deeply, kind of reconnecting with the space of your heart. Get really familiar with it. And you allow whatever thoughts or feelings or sensations to arise, and try not to cast judgment or change them, but just witness them. Take one more breath here. As you inhale, lift up onto the hands and knees. You'll pull your hands back underneath the shoulders. Again, with the cat and cow, inhale, pull the hands back towards the knees, send the belly down, lift the heart. Exhale, round the back, press the floor away from you, tuck the head and tailbone. 2 more times. Inhale, hands drag towards the knees, send the heart forward. Exhale, round the back, tuck head and tailbone. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Extend your left leg back behind you. I like to flex into my foot so that I know my toes are pointing down. Reach the crown of the head forward. And then you're going to draw your head underneath you and your knee underneath you towards each other. Left knee to head. Inhale, extend back out. 2 more times. Head to knee. One more time. Head to knee. Then draw the left foot up towards the left side of your mat and take the right knee back behind you. So here you are in this place where we just kind of soften. Spread the left foot away from the right knee. So maybe you move your right knee back, maybe you move your left foot forward. See if you can pull your heart forward. Take a couple of opportunities here. Just breathing. And then one more time, you're going to draw your left hand to your left knee, lift the body upright. Maybe right hand comes, left knee too. And then when you're ready, lift your hands up towards the sky. You might lift your heart, you might not. Whatever feels best for you. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, release the hands down to the ground, to the inside of your left foot. Now inhale, lift your right knee away from the ground. And then as you exhale, drop the knee, bend the foot, lift it away from the ground. Re-extend that leg, lift the knee. Drop the knee and bend the foot towards the right glute. And one more time, just kind of moving with the pacing and rhythm of your own breath. You'll keep the toes tucked, lift the right knee, and then you'll begin to open to the left. And again, maybe get longer by reaching the left hand forward, press down through the right hand, draw back on the left hip so that you get even longer along the left side. The left lateral side of your heart. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, release the hand down, step back to plank. If you choose to move through a vinyasa, you can, or just drop the knees down to the ground and come back to child's pose. Child's pose is our home base here today. And kind of finding any movements that you need to. Take a few more breaths, resting inward. Another moment. And then if your arms are bent or your hands aren't extended, extend them once again. You'll make your way to downward facing dog. So kind of leaning forward, tucking the toes, lifting the hips. From here, inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, come back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. One more time, inhale forward. You're gonna drop the knees towards the ground just to a hover, and then press your hips up and back behind you. Get longer through the back side of the heart. Inhale, right leg up towards the sky, send it really high. And as you exhale, draw that right foot towards the right hand. Keep the left knee lifted. As you exhale, drop your left knee down to a hover. Inhale, extend back up. Drop the left knee down to the ground and then bend back into that knee for a moment. Lift the foot. Exhale, release and extend that knee away from the ground, the left knee away from the ground. Inhale, lift the right hand up towards the sky. And this time, maybe you kind of bend into the elbow with a cactus arm and open to the side. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, you're gonna reach the right hand forward and turn towards the left edge of your mat and come to a wide-legged forward fold. And here we'll passively open the back side of the body and the heart. Maybe you kind of grab onto opposite elbows. Maybe you let your head hang long. Squeeze into the legs so you have a strong foundation, and let the heart open by just passively allowing your body to lengthen towards the ground. Take one more breath. As you inhale, lift up halfway. You're gonna turn to face the front edge of the mat again, this time coming into a lunge. So right heel lifts, right foot turns forward, and lift the hands up towards the sky. Okay? So bend nice and deeply into your right knee. Lift the heart as high as it will go. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, release the hands, step back to plank. You can move through a vinyasa if you care to, or just come back to child's pose. Take a few moments, just breathing into the space of the body, finding the space along the sides, the back and the front. Take one more breath. And then as you inhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank, pause for a breath. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Drop the knees to a hover. Press the hips up and back, get longer through the body, longer through the legs. Inhale, lift the left leg up towards the sky, lift it as high as you can, and then draw that left foot up towards the left edge of your mat. Pause for a breath here. As you exhale, drop your right knee to a hover. Inhale, re-extend that leg. Drop the right knee down to the ground, bend into the right foot, or right knee rather. As you exhale, re-extend that leg. Re-lift the right knee. Inhale, lift the hands up towards the sky. We'll do a twist in a moment. So we come to this high lunge, get onto the toes of your right foot, bend into your left knee. Take one more breath. As you exhale, release the right hand down. Lift the left arm up towards the sky and maybe bend into the elbow. Draw the elbow back. Take one more breath here. And then as we did, extend that left arm and fold to the right long edge of the mat. Come to a forward fold. Squeeze the legs together so that you get more height and allow your head to drop down towards the ground. Take a few moments here, balancing the weight distribution between the toes and the heels. So the heart is about balance. Find that balance in the middle of the foot. Take one more breath. And then walk your hands forward and step back to plank. If you want to move through a vinyasa, you can, or just come to child's pose. We'll all meet right there. Take a few moments here, really finding the length in the sides of the body. Feeling a sense of relaxation in the spaces that have been active. Notice any tightness in the body, notice where it lives. And then in the back of your mind, just to kind of place your breath into that space. Giving your body, your mind, and your energy an opportunity to release anything that feels binding. With your next inhale, you'll make your way back to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. And then you're gonna walk your hands back towards your feet and come to Uttanasana, or a forward fold at the back edge of your mat. Take a few moments here, maybe bend and straighten into the knees. Notice if you feel tightness in your heart just by moving into your hamstrings. Sometimes that happens. Take one more breath here. Bend your knees and very, very, very slowly unroll all the way up to a stand. Rising all the way up. Get longer through the body. Allow yourself to sink into the ground. So this is the first time we're really upright on both feet. So press down into the feet, lift up through the crown of the head. Reach that left hand down, reach the right hand up and over. See if you can get long through the left side and the right side. Come back to center, drop the right hand, lift the left hand. Reach up and over to the right. Press into both feet evenly. Inhale, come back to center, draw the right hand up to meet the left. Lift the hands up towards the sky. See if you can lift your heart. So It's not about back bending, it's about lifting up, opening. And you roll the shoulders onto the back, not pressing them down away from the ears, but just allow them to melt away from each other to get broader through the chest. Take one more breath. Then as you exhale, you're gonna just fold forward. Slowly walk the hands forward into downward facing dog. And then you'll inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, we'll come to Virabhadrasana 1. So draw the right foot towards the front edge of the mat, lower the left heel down. Both hips will face forward and lift the hands up towards the sky. So again, this is like one type of opening. Maybe we're really feeling the front side. Can you really engage the back by kind of squeezing and scooping the tailbone forward so you get longer through the back and you don't crunch? Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, release the hands back behind you. If you can, interlace the hands. Otherwise, you can kind of create fists and press them towards each other. So lift the heart up towards the sky. And then you're going to exhale and fold to the inside of your right leg. Pause here for a couple of breaths. Squeeze the legs together and pull the right hip back. So it's almost like you're twisting over your right foot. Take one more breath. And then you're going to release your hands and you're going to walk them towards the back edge of your mat. And you're going to switch the feet. So left toes come towards the left back corner of your mat. Right toes parallel the front edge of the mat. And you're going to take your hands back behind you, reach the hands, turning the palms to face up. And you're going to press them up towards the sky. So this is half of a Skandasana or horse pose. Bend nice and deeply into the right knee. Take one more breath here. Then you're going to take the right hand over to meet your left shin. Reach the left hand forward and then parallel both feet and straighten your legs. So right hand is back towards the left leg. Maybe it's left foot. And you're just going to twist under your left armpit. Kind of softening the gaze, reaching the left hand forward, balancing the distribution of the weight between the left foot and the right foot. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, release, and you're going to turn your right toes forward, come toward the low lunge, and then step back to plank. And if you want to move through a vinyasa, you can, or you can just move into downward facing dog. When you arrive, take 3 deep breaths. Maybe a nice long exhale through the mouth. 2 more, inhaling. One more. And exhale. Inhale, left leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, forward to warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, lower the left heel down, lift the hands up towards the sky. Again, we're kind of moving into whatever variation in the arms feels good for you. Taking a couple of breaths, both hips face forward. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, release the hands behind you, either interlace the hands or draw the fists behind you. And then you're going to fold to the inside of the left leg. Keep pulling the left hip back, press into your right foot, evenly into the pinky toe and the big toe, and just allow yourself to kind of sink into the hips here while still opening the heart. Take one more breath. You'll exhale, release the hands, switch the feet, right? So parallel the left toes, turn the right toes towards the right back edge of the mat. Half of a Skandasana, so half of a horse. Bend into your right foot or right knee rather. take your hands back behind you, palms face towards the sky, and really lift the hands up. Get longer through the spine. Take one more breath. As you exhale, take the left hand to the right leg. You're going to parallel the feet. Take the right hand forward and then twist underneath your right arm. Your hand on the left hand might come to the foot, the knee, the thigh. Take one more breath as you kind of gaze under the right armpit. And then you'll bring your hands forward towards the front edge of the mat. Come to a low lunge. Step back to plank. You can move through a vinyasa if you care to, or you can come to downward facing dog. Keep lifting the hips all the way up towards the sky. As you inhale, roll forward. And then you're going to come all the way down onto your belly. Take a moment here. We'll find Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath the shoulders. Press down through all 10 toenails. Spread your fingers wide and drag your hands back towards your body so that you get a little more open in the chest. Take 3 or 4 breaths, lifting the heart up, pressing down and pulling the elbows back. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, you're going to just kind of soften a bit. Draw your right hand over towards your left wrist, and you're going to bend into your left leg. You can choose to stay here. This is a good option. You can choose to engage in a little twist, or if you want, you can reach back for your left foot with your left hand. And you'll do this however it feels best. Your foot will come to the outer portion of your left hip. And maybe you'll begin to turn your gaze forward. And if you don't reach your foot, no big deal. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, release the foot. Take the left hand out to the left. And then you're going to roll to the left side. So you're going to roll onto your left side, and you can bend your knees if you want. You're opening into the shoulder here. So the hands and arms are connected to the space of the heart. You might even extend the leg, might bend one leg. You'll just find what feels good for you. Take another couple breaths. And then you'll just come back to your belly slowly, back to Sphinx pose, kind of pulling the elbows underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide, sending the heart forward, lifting the heart up towards the sky, so you even get longer through the neck. And then you'll cross the left arm over to the right wrist, bend into the right knee, reach back if that's part of the practice for you, for your right foot, and pull that foot towards the right hip. If it's not, just bend the knee. You can take a little twist and do any number of things here. Take a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to release the foot, extend the right arm out to the right, roll to the right side. So maybe you bend into your knees, maybe you don't. I like to use my left hand as a little prop here. You'll make any movements in your legs or your arms that feel good, or even in your neck. Take one more breath. And when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and carefully come back to your belly. Two options for our next movements. You can either find Salambasana or locust pose, where you kind of lift everything away, or if it's part of your practice to come towards a Dhanurasana, you can find a little bow pose. So whatever works best for you, you'll find that here. Maybe it's something in between. Get really long through your neck, wherever that is. Press down through the hip points. Draw the belly in, get longer through the back side of the body. Even if you're in Dhanurasana, bow pose, take one more breath. And then exhale, release down. Take a nice embrace of the earth, kind of rest on your right cheek. Pause here for a couple of breaths. It's kind of like you're hugging the ground below you. And then we're going to do one more of these little back bendy kinds of things. So maybe you kind of move into the space of locust pose again, or maybe you take the space of Dhanurasana, or maybe you do none of those. Those are all options. Take two more breaths. And as you exhale, go ahead and release all the way down. Take the hands out wide. Rest on the left cheek. Take another breath. Draw the hands underneath the shoulders and then come back to child's pose. Keeping those arms extended out long, send the hips back behind you, drop the head down towards the ground. Maybe kind of rocking out from side to side. Whatever feels best for you. And then you're going to inhale, lift up onto the hands and the knees. And you're going to just draw your right foot forward. And you're going to tuck your right knee just kind of up into the arch of the right foot, left knee into right foot. And then you're going to sit down on your right hip. You'll pause here. And then you're going to twist to the right. So right hand maybe comes behind your right hip, left hand to right knee. Get longer here. And find that balance between twisting and maybe moving slightly out of the comfort zone, and also kind of not pushing it too far to the point where you can't breathe. That would be very bad. All right, as you exhale, you'll just come back forward. You're going to place your weight of your body on your right thigh, and you're going to choose to either stay right here, where you're kind of in a Sphinx type posture in the upper body, kind of dragging the heart forward and sending the right hip back. Or if it's part of your practice, you can extend the left leg back behind you and evenly distribute the weight so that you're folding over your right shin. Whatever it is, you're kind of pulling the heart forward. You're making this really active, pressing down through the toenails of the left foot, pulling the right shin either up towards your belly or pulling the right hip back so that you can really rest your weight on your right thigh, depending on the variation that you're taking. Take a few more breaths. And when you're ready, you're gonna just, if you're in a pigeon pose, you're gonna roll back over to the right thigh. You'll kind of rebend that knee, and then everybody will just kind of lift back upright. Then we'll just switch sides. Left foot forward, right knee either into the arch of the left foot, and then folding over that left thigh. So you're kind of really placing the weight there. Or alternatively, sending the right leg back and folding over the shin of your left leg. In both cases, pulling the heart forward, kind of dragging the ground with your elbows and your hands so that you get a little more open in the chest. So it becomes a little front side heart opening. Take a few more moments here. When it feels appropriate, you're gonna, if you're in a full pigeon or pigeon prep pose, you're gonna just kind of lean over to the left, pull that right knee up towards the left foot. And then everybody will just make their way back upright. You'll extend your legs out in front of you, sitting up nice and tall, pressing down through your hands, lift the heart up into Dhanurasana. Take a couple of breaths here, get broad through the chest. If you need to bend into your knees to release the low back, by all means, go for it. And then maybe slowly we just kind of draw our heart forward. See if you can still keep it open. Maybe you just pause with your hands out to the sides. Maybe you reach your toes. And then maybe you just fold forward, maybe, or maybe you just stay where you are. And slowly you'll rise back up. You'll bend into your knees. And I like to kind of just do this little variation where my knees are bent, my feet are flexed, and I kind of lean back. Can you inhale, lift your hands up towards the sky? You can either keep the arms separated or not. If that doesn't feel good, bring your hands to your heart. Take a couple of moments here, squeeze the legs together, open the heart forward. Take a few more moments, maybe reaching the hands forward, maybe lifting the legs. Maybe you grab onto your toes. And then slowly you're going to release all the way down to the ground. Soften for a moment into the floor. We'll do one more little twist and then we'll make our way into our Shavasana. Maybe you just draw your left knee up into the chest. Kind of take that left knee in the right hand, and then drop the left knee over to the right and open the left hand out to the left. Doesn't matter if the left knee comes to the ground or not. Again, find that balance, but allow the left shoulder to release towards the ground so that you get some opening in your heart. Then come back to center. Release that left leg long. Draw the right knee into the chest, maybe taking it in the left hand. Extend the right arm out to the right, and then drop the knee over to the left. Again, your knee doesn't have to touch the ground, but find some balance between the two. Coming back to center, draw the knees into the chest. Take a moment of assessment and evaluation and see if there's some other thing that you need to do in your body in order to move something else that might feel stuck. And if you do, just kind of beginning to do that now, and if you're doing something with sides, maybe you switch sides if you have not done so already. And then coming back to knees and into the chest, you're going to inhale, lift your head up towards your knees. You're going to tighten every muscle in your body. Take a nice deep inhale. You'll hold your breath until you can no longer hold it without causing stress. And then very, very slowly, you'll make your way into your Shavasana. Relaxing on the ground. If you need a bolster or a pillow underneath your legs, you can kind of grab that now. And you'll stay here for a little while, relaxing and preparing and settling inward. And just take a nice deep breath in and then let it all go. Take a deep breath in and perhaps you sigh and kind of let your breath out completely. And then open yourself up to receive these words. Allow them to resonate with you. I open my heart to explore the divinity inherent within my body and my being. I respect and honor my body as the temple of the divine. I am not just this body, but I am embodied spirit itself. I am not my emotions or thoughts. I am the witness to all that is in passing. I take this moment to transform anything that is holding me back from being the brightest light. I let go of limitations that are held in my physical, mental, and emotional bodies. And then allow yourself to let go of all thoughts, all worries, all tension. And turn yourself over to something a little more universal. Perhaps you relax, trust, and let go. Breathe in fully and exhale with a deep sigh. Breathe in fully and exhale, letting go even more. Breathe in fully and feel your whole body soften on your next sigh. Relax, bring comfort, safety, and peace, and allow it to wash over you. Bring your entire body into your awareness. Passing some gratitude through it. And allow your body to rest deeply. Inhale and hold in your breath, kind of closing off the breath at the throat. And then when prompted by your body, just as we did moving into Shavasana, release and breathe slowly and steadily on the exhale. Move back into your normal breath for a moment or two. And then inhale, hold in that breath at the very top of the inhale. Close it off at the throat, creating slight tension without struggle. Maybe holding that breath for a little longer. And then when prompted by your body, fully expelling your exhale, releasing what it no longer needs. Returning to your natural breath and feeling deep-seated tensions and stresses leave the body. And then together, once again, let's inhale. hold the breath even longer. When you're ready, you'll let it all go until there's nothing left. You're completely open and empty. Allow your breath to rise and fall at its own rhythm. And perhaps the breath quiets almost to the point of stillness. It might be nearly impossible to detect. And bring your attention to your face and allow, upon your exhale, all expression to leave your face. Allow your eyes to rest back, your tongue and your mouth to release. Maybe you open the jaw softly. Even the scalp releases and softens, the neck and throat. And then bring your whole body into awareness. Feel the shoulders, the heart. Feel the expansion and contraction of the ribs and lungs. Feel the softening of the hips towards the ground, and then feel the weight of your legs. And drop into the sense of body presence. Connect to all of the sensations that you feel in your body. Let go any categorizing, any narratives. Let go what's happening around you. And let all of the things arise as they do. Experience the moment. It's just about the sensations, pure experience and awareness, pure sensation. And this becomes your connection to divinity, to the universal, to source. Maintain inner stillness, feeling alert, yet soft. Allow any internal or external disturbances to melt away. And shift from thinking and doing into feeling and being. As you drop into the deepest state of tranquility. Feel stillness. And feel as though consciousness is in direct communication with your energy body. Feel the flow of your breath, inhaling and exhaling. And slowly, as you exhale, feel yourself descending to the space of your heart. As if you're moving down a set of stairs. find the visualization of you being able to place your hands onto your heart. Feel that sense of oneness. Feel empty and still. Allow the wisdom of your heart to initiate your next thoughts. And rest in awareness here for a moment. Feel all of the sensations and the experiences of touching your heart as a loosely tied field of energy, a cloud of changing sensations. Allowing yourself to be available to the experience, not searching, but just receptive. And any of the sensations just are. There's no directing on your part. There's just receiving. Feel the sensations, the galaxies of awareness here. And simply asking your heart what it is that it truly desires. Just holding on to the first thing that it mentions. Allow it to speak to you through whatever way it does. Maybe it's through sound or vision. Maybe it's through some other sentience or cognizance. Feel the sensations of it. Be in the space of that desire. And relax into this space as the experience arises from moment to moment. Every sensation, every cell, every thought, everything is felt equally. Feel boundless and free as you rest here for another moment. Drawing your attention to that beating heart and the expansion of your lungs and ribs. And beginning to kind of make your way back into just the physical body as it rests here on the ground. Allow yourself to be empty of all the past, all the future. Let all of your thoughts dissolve. And this is your place of integration. The place where your desires become perfect and whole and a piece of you. Allow this desire, this recognition of what is, to fill your entire body. It goes to the deepest level of recognition. and it's fulfilled with effortless ease. Draw your attention up to the space on your forehead, that space of the third eye, and feel all of the energies in the body activated, balanced, purified. Feel your life force flow freely. Feel the presence of all the energies that support you. Feel universal force surrounding you and guiding you and blessing you. And if there's anything that you need now, as words, senses, images, allow yourself to receive it now. Otherwise, you can just relax in the grace of presence. And sense your body on the floor, the quality of the air as it touches your skin and moves in and out of your body. And when you feel compelled or the impulse moves you, begin to move as if you're awakening from the deepest slumber. You might bend your knees, you might rock side to side, and you might just kind of lie down on a side, maybe in a little fetal position, pausing for a breath or so. Feel the safety and the comfort here. Just draw your hands to meet and then maybe press into the floor, rising up to a seated position if you're not already there. And bringing the hands to meet together at the center of the chest, pausing for a breath or so. Taking a moment of gratitude for showing up to practice, showing up to become more receptive, and for sharing the space and time and energy with each other. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and fold forward and seal your yogic practice. And so from this space, maybe kind of reaching over, grabbing your paper, your journal, and beginning to just jot down what it was that your heart desired. Right? So come into that space where you could sense all of the things. What is it that you truly desired? What was it that your heart spoke to you with? Write down all of the sensations that you experienced in that moment. So Maybe you saw colors or heard sounds, or maybe you saw a picture. Were you with somebody or by yourself? What was the feeling? Was there a taste, a smell? Allowing yourself to just write down whatever it is that you experienced. This becomes your compass. So the feelings, the sensations, the physical experience, and the feeling that we have inside becomes the compass of when you're going in the right direction. Just kind of feeling all of the things that have arisen for you. And you can either choose to stay here, kind of experiencing this, or just kind of moving off into the rest of the day.